One day, Queen Eleanor and King Fergus were getting ready to attend a royal banquet. Maudie, the nursemaid, had the day off, so Merida was going to babysit her brothers for the first time. They can be quite a handful, Miranda's mother warned. I can manage the wee ones, Merida assured her parents. Don't worry about a thing. But as soon as the king and queen left the castle, the three boys began to run wild. Harris slid down the banister. Hamish swung from the chandelier. And Herbert ran around the dining room table. What have I gotten myself into? Merida said to herself worriedly. She quickly thought of a plan to keep her brothers busy and out of trouble. Let's have an archery contest, she suggested. Outside, Merida watched as each boy held up his arrow and pulled back his bow. 1, 2, 3, she counted. The boys released their arrows. Harris's and Hamish's arrows each landed in the bullseye. But Herbert's arrow went too high and pierced an apple in the tree above them. The apple landed right on one of the Queen's favorite garden statues. Merida caught the statue just before it fell to the ground. Phew, that was a close one, said Merida. Maybe we should do something else. The boys were getting restless again. Merida had to think of another activity fast. Let's check on the horses, she said. The triplets ran off excitedly to the stable. Herbert gathered some hay for the horses. Hamish filled the trough with fresh water, and Harris combed the horses' tails. What a mess. Before the triplets could get into any more trouble, Merida suggested they saddle up the horses and take a long ride. This should keep them busy for a while, she said to herself. When they stopped to give their horses a drink from a stream, the boys noticed a trail of glowing blue lights. Hamish jumped up and ran after them. His brothers followed. The three boys tried to catch the tiny blue fairies. Leave them be, Merida warned. If you chase them, they will the wisps. They'll lead you astray and get you lost. The boys didn't listen. Instead, they got on their horses and galloped after the wisps. Come back, Merida called, but they were already gone. She jumped on her horse and chased them. Merida followed the boys into the woods. Soon they were out of sight. She came to a fork in the path. She didn't know which way the boys had turned. Merida began to worry. Where could those rascals be? Merida saw the wisps fluttering ahead. They seemed to be waiting for her, so she followed them. The blue fairies led her deeper into the forest. Finally, they stopped at the bottom of a large pine tree. Merida looked up. There were her 3 brothers, stuck high in the branches. Now do you believe me? Merida called to the boys. Those wisps are mischief makers. The triplets were kicking and fussing to be rescued. Merida helped them down. Well, those pesky wisps can't be all bad, she said. They did come back to help me find you. When she turned around to thank the fairies, they were gone. Back at the castle, Merida found more ways to keep her brothers busy. They helped prepare dinner, a feast fit for 3 wee kings. Then they cleared the table, washed the dishes, and mopped the floor. At last it was time for bed. The boys changed into their pajamas, brushed their teeth, and then ran to find a bedtime story. The triplets each had a favorite book, and they bickered about which one Merida would read first. Don't worry, said Merida. I'll read all your stories. Now settle down. But the princess was exhausted from her busy day. Before she could finish the first page of the first book, her eyes closed. The boys gently placed a blanket over their sister, and then they snuggled in close and fell asleep. When Queen Eleanor and King Fergus returned home, they found Merida and her brothers fast asleep. See, I told you there was nothing to worry about, said the king. Merida is the perfect babysitter. The end.